Finish. Well, fuck. I had to push a button, right? God damn it. Oh, well.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's the intro. There you go. All right, so this is Tyler Toby Townsend.
This is David Anaya.
All right, so usually the way we start this shit is we do a gym update. I already kind of did one. I'm doing two today. I talked to you a little bit about it. The first one was for this guy going on strike for Peace Health,
Right.
Jerry, and it was pretty cool. So I'll do another gym update just to keep things normal. Gym's going great. Not back up to my 600-700 pound numbers yet. You can't just jump, right? You got to prepare yourself and get yourself ready and shit. But what do you do to keep yourself healthy?
Well, truth be told, not a whole lot now.
Not
Not a whole lot. Full integrity, full honesty. I have recently started doing push-ups in the morning again, though.
Okay.
So I had to take a break from my gym experience for a while. I hurt my back like a year ago.
Yeah.
I was an assistant coach for a life coaching company that I'm a part of,
Okay.
and I was helping set up this. We call them evolutions, but it involved like building a cart, so we call it Coach Cart. But I was setting it up, taking it down. There was 4 truck tires that needed to be loaded into the back of this pickup truck, and so like I was bouncing them and then lifting them onto the truck bed. Got to the last one and didn't get a high enough bounce on it, and so like I just like torqued it and pinched my nerve in my lower back. Out of commission for almost a year. So
Damn.
yeah, went to the chiropractor a few times and been just like trying to nurse it back to health. But yeah, I mean, I've just been trying to ease back into it. Like what you said, you can't just jump back in.
Yeah.
So
Well,
easing back in.
With that kind of stuff, I get a lot of people who are always like, oh, my back hurts, so I don't want to deadlift, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But, like, I've really noticed that, like, my back starts hurting when I start getting weak again. You know what I mean? Like, when I start building that muscle back around my back and getting strong, it'd be to the point where you could pick up 2 of those tires. You're not going to hurt yourself picking up those tires.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, strengthening your back, for me at least, is a huge deal. And if you hurt your back, of course, don't do anything that like your doctor's telling you. Well, fuck the doctors. They're always going to tell you. They're always telling me not to do shit. And I'm just like, I want help staying healthy. They're like, well, healthy's not picking up this amount of weight. I'm like, maybe for you little bitch, but like, I'm going to do what I want to do. You know?
And that's one thing that I've noticed too, though, is that like you don't realize how fragile your body is until you hurt your back. Because, like, there was a minute there, dude, where I was walking like a straight old man. I was hunched over, just, like, breathing heavily every time I took a step, like,
Yeah, I've done that.
I had to get one of those, like, lumbar alignment bars for my car, too. And, like, I'm, like, gripping the top of my vehicle to sit in. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
So, an actual injury is an injury, right,
Yeah.
of course, and baby it all you need to get back in there. But, like, if you can get back in there, man, and get that back shit going.
I'm finally at the point where I can stand up straight and I don't feel TV static in the lower part of my body. So I'm like, now I'm ready to get back into it. So.
Well, you want to start strengthening your back and you don't want to go to a gym yet, try some Nordic fucking glute raises.
Yes, yeah, we were talking about that.
Those are beastly, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love that
Intense.
shit. They're hard. Yeah, they're really fucking hard. Nordic's the easiest way to start because you can usually do it somewhere on the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, get to some GHRs and shit. I love those. But I'm fucked. Like I haven't been able to do them in a while either. So, but that's how I make everybody cry.
Yeah.
When I start coaching them, dude.
That's how you break them.
Yeah. I've coached a few girls too, and they're like, "This is too hard." I'm like, "I'm gonna help you."
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's not hard. I'm not going to say you're doing it wrong. I'm going to say this is really, really hard. Mm-hmm. But you can do 3 sets of 10 of that. Your deadlift, your squat, everything will go up 100 pounds.
Good.
I guarantee it. And it's because it's so fucking hard. It's like trying to learn how to do a pull-up. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people cannot do fucking pull-ups. You know how many people can do a pull-up? I think it's like 3% of the United States can do a fucking pull-up. That is ridiculous. Like, okay, so I'm going to tell you, the way my fitness journey started, I'm probably almost 300 pounds.
Okay.
And have you ever done the ape caves?
No.
You should do them. It's a lot of fun.
I don't even know what that is.
It's spelunking. It's basically a gigantic
okay. Volcanic?
There we go. Thank
Yeah.
you. Tunnel, right? You can either start at the top and climb your way down,
Oh, shit.
or you can start from almost the bottom, which is what the way I do. I recommend it that way, and then you can go down a little bit, but it ends, and then go all the way up. It's not crazy steep, but you are climbing over like rocks and shit the whole time. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. Where is this?
Oh shit! Kind of by St. Helens.
Really?
That's Washington, right?
No, St. Helens is Oregon.
Rainier, then.
Okay.
The Washington one. So it's kind of over there by Rainier, and it's probably about an hour away. Look up Ape Caves, dude. It is one of the most fun fucking hike
put that in my
things I've
notes.
ever done. So with that, there is probably like a 7-8 foot wall. I want to say 3/4 of the way up. So you're there. If you don't get up this wall, you're going back, right? I'm 300 pounds, no fucking muscle. I'm with, at the time, I was with the young men from the church I was going to, right? I was one of the leaders. And we get to this thing, and I'm helping boost everybody up. I'm really just helping this keep going. Then it's my turn. And, like, I jump up, I cannot get over this 7-8 foot wall. I can't. I just can't do it.
Okay.
And like I jump and I have grip. I can't pull myself up. I'm 300 fucking pounds, right? I have the other leader jump down, is shoving my ass. We still can't do it.
Yeah.
So I end up having to put my backpack back on, have him down there shoving my ass, and having these boys reach over, grabbing this backpack and yanking me up this wall. It took about 15 minutes to get me up this wall. Everybody else was just up.
Yeah.
I was furious. Thinking about just like, if this was a life or death situation, I'd be dead. I would be dead. That is how this works.
Right.
If I had to get up there by myself, it would not have happened. So I was pissed. Right? And then plus, I was like, if I hit 300 pounds, I'm going to kill myself. I was pissed. Because I had no muscle, no nothing. So I started that weight loss journey. I lost like 50 pounds. I've told this story many times on the podcast, but I lost 50 pounds and I looked like shit because everything was all hangy. You know what I mean? Because I was big. You got to think about 300 pounds with no muscle is a big fucking dude. Fat dude. All my shirts were double XL and stretched to the fucking max, you know? But now I wear like a double XL and it's really just shoulders that are in the fucking way. But yeah, so I was pissed, and then I got really mad because I felt worse losing weight than I did fat.
Right.
Because everything was like fucking hanging. And a buddy of mine was like, oh, you are pretty strong. Why don't you just fill it with muscle? And I'm like, sure. Like, let's fucking do that, right? Like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And so I started that journey, and he's like, well, it'll take you about 10 years to get about where you want to be.
Okay.
And then you can start looking how you want to once you get about that much experience. And we're 10 years in now. So, no, nothing hangs, nothing, but I'm still kind of chubby. I'm a strong man, so I don't give a fuck, right? I eat all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's taken years to change my body. So every 7 years, you have a brand new body. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took that long to lose this weight the right way and gain enough muscle to make it look right. So it's been fucking rough, dude. It's been a rough-ass journey, but it scared me. And then I started doing pull-ups, and everyone's like, well, how'd you learn how to do pull-ups? Did you use the band? Did you do blah? I did it the old-fashioned angry way. I hung and pulled. Every day.
I just did it.
That's it. Yeah, so I hung every day, and I wasn't moving for the first couple weeks. Then I'm moving an inch. Then I'm moving 2 inches. It got to the point where pull-ups became such a big part of my workout routine. I do 3 sets of 10 overhand, 3 sets of 10 underhand, and 3 sets of 10 neutral grip. Well, when I started coaching, I'm just like, you're going to do your 3x3x10, right, for your pull-ups. And they're like, 90? And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of fucking pull-ups, bro. Like, every week I'm doing fucking 90 pull-ups. Like, I didn't think about it. I'm thinking 3 sets of 10.
Right.
3 sets of 10 by 3, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'd do a set of 10 overhand, set of 10 underhand, and set of 10 neutral, and I'd rest. Set it, and boom, boom, boom. That's a part of my shoulder day.
I think that's really awesome, though, because I'm doing like that similar mindset is kind of how we, in like coaching and like what I'm doing right now with my real estate agents, is that I'm doing goal planning and target setting. Yeah. And so we split the year into 4 quarters.
Right.
And the goal planning is for each quarter. So it's like, what are you trying to create this quarter? And so that mindset of like taking the bigger goal of like, I want to do 90 pull-ups, but then kind of breaking it down into, okay, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 this way, 3 sets of 10 that way, 3 sets of 10 that way.
Right.
You're not even thinking about how many you're doing total.
Right.
It's just, I'm going to knock out this portion, and then once I've done that, then I'm going to do this one, then I'm going to do this one. I think that's really awesome.
Right.
Because then, like what you said, you know, it's just like that sudden realization of, oh shit, like I've just done 90, I'm doing 90 pull-ups a week. Like,
yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it got to the point where I would do all 3 sets right in a row. So at the beginning, like I said, it's an inch at a time. Mm-hmm. And people were like, how the fuck did you get to a pull-up? An inch at a time.
Yeah.
Every day. And that's the thing, like, you have to understand, I did this for so long that, like, I'd get an inch on the first one, and then half an inch on the second one, quarter inch on the third one.
Right.
Right? So it wasn't like I'm to an inch now, so all 10 of these are an inch. Like, it got to the point where the first one's 4 inches, the second one's 3 inches, right? Like,
exactly.
And I had to work my way until, like, I'm 300 pounds still, but muscle. Right. And I can do 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 3 sets of 10 for fucking full dead hang pull-ups. If you're using your legs, you're fucking doing them wrong, right? And mm-hmm. So it's nuts to be able to see this big-ass fucking dude just get up there and just start yanking pull-ups out. It's funny as hell when I see people watching me. I also do, I scare the fuck out of people with the ab wheel.
Oh, shit, okay.
Do you know how to do an ab wheel?
Is that the one where it's like a roller on the ground and you like...
You have like 2 little handles and there's a wheel in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Do you know you're supposed to do that on your toes?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So most people get down on their knees, right, and they're doing this, right?
Okay.
But what you're supposed to do is from standing, you reach down, you put the wheel, and you go all the way down and all the way up.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of like from a plank position, like on your toes.
That's how most people like try to do it. No. So it's an extension, right?
So it's a full extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even on your knees, it's hard. Well, I bang that shit out on my toes.
Damn.
I'm a big dude, so it looks fucking crazy. Yeah, dude. So like my core is so fucking strong. Like I have a belly, right? But I can feel all my abs pushing down into it.
Yeah.
My core is stupid strong. Plus, you got to have a stupid strong core to be squatting 727 pounds.
Right.
Deadlifting 755, right? Like you have to, or it's not going to go up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty intense. Yeah, and that's inch by inch.
It's like it's really just a different like family of lifting, right? It's like a different branch. Because like marathon runners, you know that like all marathon runners are built the exact same. They have like this huge, like not muscly, but just like inflated chest because their lungs are so big. Or like bodybuilders or like competitive strongmen. Like they're all built a very specific way to support the way that they work out. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's just intense that people think that like because I have a belly, I'm fat, and it's like, dude, this is like. Usually when I tell people, too, that I'm 300 pounds, they're like, no fucking way. I'm like, yeah, because you're used to normal people at 300 pounds. Like, this is packed, tight fucking muscle.
Yeah.
And it's different, too, because I was 5'10 in high school. I'm 5'8 now. Just from the amount of fucking weight I put on my joints, my bones. Yeah. My bone density is fucking stupid.
Gravity's pulling you close.
Well, it's not just gravity, it's this weight, right? So, right. Like, you know bones are porous.
Yeah.
I have crushed my bones down to almost solidity.
Jeez.
Like just
got straight concrete.
That's what I'm working with. But you have to.
Yeah.
Squatting like there's no way your spine would be able to handle it. One of the top powerlifters in the world does this thing where he'll pull 1,000 pounds off the rack for squats, and he just bounces it, just crushing his fucking spine and his bones and all that other shit. And what he's doing is it's bone density work.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you put 1,000 pounds on your back, put a normal human, they may be able to stand it up, but it'll break them.
Yeah.
Your CNS, the same thing, like your nervous system, you have to prep for that kind of shit. So I used to think when I was younger, just start yanking 300-400 pounds. I don't give a fuck, right? That's my warm up weight now, but I'm
Right.
at 700 for my normal reps, right? So like even there, I started about 300, and I go up 100 pounds all the way up. So it takes me for fucking ever to get to my normal lifting. But if you don't prep your CNS, like your nerves will get shot. You'll blow a fucking nerve, and now you're in pain for a whole nother reason. You didn't pull a muscle. You didn't do shit. You shot a nerve. And that's worse. I mean, you busted a nerve in your back, right? Like, that ain't no fucking game.
It was not a fun time at all.
Oh, yeah. And your nerves control what's around it.
Right.
You bust a nerve, every muscle in there is contracted continuously the whole time. You can't uncontract them. You got to do nerve work.
And it was like the way that my chiropractor explained it too. It was just like the nerve. It's kind of a gross metaphor or analogy, but he explained the nerve being like a jelly donut.
Ooh, that's
and
hot.
right, and then so he had this whole like diagram with vertebrae from a spine, and he was like, this is what you just did, and he like contracted this spine, and it like pinched the nerve like right at the end, and so it became like, he was like, basically what happened is it pinched between the two vertebrae, and then it became inflamed, and so he just kept like opening and closing it. He's like, you see how now it looks like a jelly donut? And I was like, yeah, but this is really gross to look at. Like, it's kind of just nasty. But so that's basically like, that's what happened. And so every time I was moving my spine, since the nerve was so inflamed, it was actually like sticking out.
Yeah.
So it was no longer like in between the vertebrae. It was actually sticking out. So every time I stood up straight, it was pinching. Every time I bent over, it was pinching a different side of it. And so like it was constantly...
So there was like one angle you could stay at, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was the old man.
Yeah.
Like the crooked at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And so I was walking like that for a minute. Like even people in my office, they were laughing at me because the running joke is that like I'm too old to be feeling, or too young to be feeling this old.
Yeah.
You know, so like I got hereditarily bad knees and ankles.
Yeah.
Shout out my family for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then this back injury comes along, so like I stand up, my knees pop, and I'm like, and like everyone's just laughing at me.
So, what workout do you do for your knees?
For my knees, I used to do wall sits actually. I used to just sit there for as long as possible, but it was like making them feel stiff.
Okay, so that's a trick question, and the reason I say that is because there's almost nothing you can do to strengthen your fucking knees.
Well, yeah.
Right? Like, everybody's always like, well, my knees always hurt. I've had that issue for fucking years. You don't squat that much and have your knees not start to hurt, right? That's not what happens. So I started wrapping them when I'm squatting, which adds a little more pounds to your squat as well. Some people see it as cheating, but it's still over 700 fucking pounds. I can do that raw, too. So, like, you can fuck right off. But, but at the same time, so... a buddy of mine introduced sissy squats to me. And I know it sounds stupid. I wish they would have named it something else, right? But what it is, you need to look it up.
Okay.
You stand up straight, hips forward, and then you bend down and touch your knees to the ground. I've been recommending the fuck out of these. I've been doing them for about 8 months now. I have no knee pain whatsoever because I'm building the strength in my knees.
Interesting.
It's the only thing I've ever found that actually works out your fucking knees.
So it's like back to the wall and then...
Nope.
What?
Standing. Okay, I'll show you a little bit, right? So first of all, I would do this in socks or bare feet because you got toes, bro. But you go about here. I'm still big enough. I use a rack, right? But you go about here and you're doing this. And you're touching your knees to the ground.
Okay.
But hips forward. That's the biggest deal. And then you're up.
Oh,
right?
shit. Okay.
It's nuts. It has just strengthened the fuck out of my knees.
And it works out your knees.
Everything's going up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've been pissed because ask any old school lifter anything. What are you going to do about your knees? There's nothing you can do. It's a joint.
Right.
Right? But there is. They figured it out.
So I wonder how that
Sissy
works.
squats. I don't fucking know.
What's the science behind it?
I don't know. It's just the way you have to pick yourself up. Now, that's why I'm saying look it up and do them correctly, because that was not right.
Right.
I mean, I have to warm up. My toes, I think I
go
broke
find
one of these
space,
toes
too.
anyways. But so when you're done with them, your toes will fucking hurt. Because you're literally just like gripped into the fucking ground with just your toes.
Yeah.
And then your knees will kind of hurt. But you'll start seeing once you get better at them and doing them more and more correctly. You know how you do a workout, and at first, you're probably not doing them 100% right. So it kind of hurts a little and a little weird. But the more you do it and feel where it's working, the easier it is to hit correctly.
Yeah.
Once you get to that point, like I can actually make my knees sore. Not like hurt, like
But
they've
like
been
muscle
worked.
sore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's working the tendons and all the muscles that actually wrap your knees. Because what else can you do that does that?
Oh, actually, yeah. No, that does make sense then.
It's hard, man, because I mean, extensions, curls, like all this other shit you can do with your knees, squats.
Yeah.
Like everything works on the hinging of your knees, but does not work on the hinge of your knees. It's nuts. You're using all the muscles around when this is the only one that actually makes it so you have to use your knee strength only to pull you up. It's crazy. Try it.
Yeah.
Your knees will feel fucking way better in like 3 months.
I'll try it and report back.
Yeah, do that. Do it. They're hard. But you should get to the point where you should be able to do them standing. No braces, no nothing. So, I haven't been able to get there yet. I'm a big fucking dude, right? So, but I've also seen some dude do them standing on a couch.
Yeah.
So he does them negatives. So he's touching his knees to the actual ground beneath the couch and
From
pulling
the
himself
couch?
back up. Yeah, standing on the couch. It's nuts.
That's wild.
Start looking up sissy squats, and you'll see people doing them all over the place.
How is he not like busting his kneecaps?
He's also extremely flexible. Extremely flexible. So,
But like even going down from like the top of the couch to like, or like the cushion to the ground, like how is he not just busting his kneecaps every time?
I mean, the amount of control he's got.
He just
Because if we were to
lowers
get to a
himself.
certain decline, or a certain decline for me, I would probably just fall and just fucking smash my knees into the ground.
Yeah.
But like this guy's been doing them long enough to where it's not happening for him. That's one of the reasons I love the internet, because you can find out shit like this. And like if I didn't have the guy come up and tell me who did, I'd have been like, fuck you and your fucking gay squats. Right? Like your sissy squats, right? Like right? So like why'd you name it that? Can you not name it knee squat or something? Like you gotta call it a sissy squat. You're making me really not want to do these, bro. I'm not a sissy. But you know,
I guess there's irony in that though.
Right.
There's irony because they're so difficult to do.
they're extremely difficult to do correctly.
Yeah.
And I do gotta say, record yourself doing it from the side, because your hips are not forward enough.
Yeah.
I don't care if you watch all these videos, your hips are not forward enough. It should be straight.
Yeah.
From your belly to your knees, no bend in hips.
Right.
Because when I first started doing them, I'm like, why aren't these fucking working? Like, they don't seem hard. But if you push your ass back, yeah, it's like squatting down to bend, like to pick something up off the ground. But if you do them correctly, you're like, fuck. Like, your core is involved. Everything, man. It's nuts.
Interesting.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll turn you on.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've just recently started to feel knee pain. I played basketball on Wednesday, and I got out of the gym afterwards, and I was just like, man, why does my fucking knee hurt? Like, again, I'm too young to be feeling this old, man. Yeah. But I'm like walking, and it's like all stiff and shit. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was just talking to Jerry too. Man, I'm strong enough to where I have so much fucking muscle on my body. Stretching, like, you know, when you kind of stretch flex, right? Like, I got to be careful because I'll hurt me because my muscles can contract so hard. Like, I sneeze and I'll throw my back out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you told me that.
Yeah, dude. Like, just I'm like, oh fuck, just because there's so much muscle back there, just contracting on my spine really quickly. Like, or if I get startled, yeah, dude, it hurts.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't like scary movies. I really don't. And I don't know why.
They're a whole different level of pain for you.
Well, every time we go to the fucking, what are they, the haunted houses, put my big ass out front. This is bullshit. I get it. I'm supposed to protect you guys, but I'm a jumpy fuck. And you're putting me up there. I'm hurting myself, and you don't even get it.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you remember in like those carnivals and stuff, they would have like the House of Mirrors?
Yeah.
So I hated those as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I could never differentiate which was the actual like hall and which was the mirror.
Yeah.
Still can't to this day, but I just choose not to go in them anymore.
Yeah.
But anyways, as a kid, I had this big ass head. Like my head was like disproportionately large to the size of my body.
Nice.
And so I would just walk through these things and like bounce my head off of one of these mirrors and like fall backwards, get up, and I'd do the exact same thing in a different... It was, yeah. Just had my family out there just watching me. Just like human pinball.
Yeah. Yeah. I follow a page on Instagram called Kids Getting Hurt. And, you know, it's the funny kind of hurt. Not like actually broken limbs or something. Like, but them falling like, on their face and shit. And you're like, ha, 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 good. You know? Like, that kid deserved it. You can tell. I see his parents.
No, that shit is hilarious, though.
Yeah.
There's just something about seeing people get... Not injured, like what you're saying, but just just falling over.
Yeah.
Like people falling over on the internet. It's one of the funniest things.
I
Although I have seen a couple of them, though, where I'm just like
Yeah.
I saw this one where this guy was riding a moped and lost control of it and drove it straight into a chain link fence. Like, nothing broke, right? Nobody died. But all you can hear on the camera is just... like, the guy just winded the shit out of himself. But, it looks so tough, though. Like, this guy came colliding into this fence at, like, full speed on this moped. Yeah. Which, when you think about it, like, when you say it out loud, like, it sounds kind of funny as is.
Yeah.
But just watching him just collide with this fence, and then the moped goes flying out, like, somewhere, and then he's just standing there just...
I don't know. I feel like I've fallen and hurt myself enough. I'm allowed to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly. You know.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's get into it.
Okay.
You work for Vision Mortgage.
I do. Yes.
You are a mortgage broker?
Loan officer. So, I mean, we're not necessarily a broker. We're kind of more like a hybrid model. So...
Explain the difference so people can understand.
So brokering is, like, the short and sweet definition is basically brokering is you take the application, you basically just connect someone with a company that's able to do the loan, right? So you have all of these different reps with different companies that have different rate sheets, different programs, stuff like that. What we do is a hybrid, so we have our own loan programs that we do in-house, but then we also have certain loan programs like bank statement loans or certain DSCRs or even ITIN loans for like people with ITIN numbers, right? But that we do through different companies. So we don't necessarily broker them straight out. We kind of still work with the borrower. We still work with the rep from the broker. But that's kind of the main difference between what we do versus like a straight up broker shop. Yeah. Is that they have different lenders that have different programs and stuff, and they connect people, right? So we kind of have like a hybrid of the both. Okay.
How about going to your bank? Like, what's the biggest difference between you guys and just walking into a bank?
Yeah, I mean, good question. The level of service, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, you call a bank, you get put on hold. It's essentially, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just at that stage, what you're looking for is you're looking for somebody who's actually like, I don't know, somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. A lot of time with banks, they're not individually licensed. Actually, every time with banks, they're not individually licensed. They're like the institution itself is licensed. So to be a loan officer, you actually have to do your 20 hours of federal pre-licensing, 4 hours of state specific. You have to take the test, and then from there, you're individually licensed in that state to like talk rates, to sell mortgages, do all of that sort of stuff. Working at a bank, the institution itself is actually the one that's licensed, and then you just work underneath that.
So basically, a bank, you could potentially be running into somebody who has no fucking idea what they're talking about.
I mean, yeah, they're just reading it from a sheet.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of times with banks, like, people will come to me and they'll say, well, they have better rates or they have whatever, da-da-da. I'm like, okay, well, let me see the loan estimate that they sent you. I've seen loan estimates from banks that don't have property taxes calculated correctly for that state because it's like an out-of-state bank. Or, like, they don't have enough hazard insurance or, like, homeowners insurance gathered in the prepaids. points are off, maybe cash to close isn't calculated correctly. Like, there's a lot of room for error when you have people doing a mortgage for you that they don't necessarily know what to look for. And so that's like the first thing that I always look at when people tell me, oh, well, this bank has better rates than you. It's like, okay, well, how much better and what exactly are you paying for here? Like, let's take a look at it and go line by line. Even if at the end of the day you do decide to stay with the bank for whatever reason, but if you do decide to stay, it's always a better idea to have somebody who's actually like a licensed professional take a look at it. Because we have a fiduciary responsibility or obligation, right, to operate in the client's best interest.
Yep.
So I'm never going to go to a client and be like, I want you to work with me just because I want you to work with me, right? If I can't provide something that's the same or somewhat better in one way or another, I'm not going to try to steal your business, right? I'm just going to say, you know what, and I have done that before. I have taken a look at something where I can't touch just because, you know, market conditions or whatever it is. It's just what they have there is a much better deal. But still, at the end of the day, it's so important to have somebody take a look at something who, like, this is actually, like, their job and they know what to look for, to take a look at it and just be like, okay, here's what's right, here's what's wrong, here's what this line mean. And just make sure that the client actually understands what it is that they're getting themselves locked into before they go down that path. So.
All right. Yeah. I mean, man, all right. So I give a different explanation altogether, man. When people ask me the difference, I'm like, yeah, you can go to like your bank or a credit union, and I always tell everybody that banks are black and white, whereas like they have like these 3 loan programs. You either fit in or you don't. They're either going to give it to you or not. Mm-hmm. Whereas like a loan officer or a broker or something like that can look at like 100 different options, and they'll make something work for you. You know?
That is true to a certain extent. Although I have been running into a lot of scenarios recently where there are loan officers that operate in black and white too.
Okay.
Like there's loan officers that just, I mean, they just don't, either they don't have the ability to think outside the box when it comes to a loan scenario, or they just don't have something available to them. I'm kind of biased in that sense because I was almost raised in this industry around the idea of not everything is black and white. Yeah. It's figure out how to get it done and then present that to the client. Now, you may not like the numbers that you see, but here's where you want to be. Like, if you want $500,000 and, you know, you can't afford $500,000, we're not going to pre-approve you, but what we will do is we'll tell you how to get there. Because at least then it gives you a clear path of if you do this thing, and this thing, it may build your credit to the point where you can afford that, or the pricing gets better. Yeah. Or, you know, it'll just put you in a better situation.
Dude, I worked with, so the guy who was in here before you, his name's Jerry, but he was sent to me by Rob and Janie. So Rob, I started working with, he was the first person I considered a client when I started.
Okay.
I didn't sell him a house until 4 years ago. So I want to say 3-4 years it took of building his credit, figuring out what he needed to do. Like, it was horrendous. But what I did is I worked with a loan officer, and just every year we tried. Right. Oh, well, this is where you're at. This is what's holding you back. This is how we can get you on track to make this shit happen. Right. And he fucking did it. He owns a house now. I mean, he's one of my favorite, like, you can do it stories, right? Because he's a cook. Like, he hasn't been, like, he's not making a ton of money. His wife is, she works at Peace Health. Yeah. I think she's an MA, which I don't know what that means, but she's like one of the people who...
Medical assistant, maybe?
Yeah, there we go. I think that's what she does.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say that's what she does. Sorry, maybe. Janie, if I'm wrong.
It's potential.
Yeah.
Potentially.
She works in Peace Health.
Right.
I know that for sure. But they don't make a ton of money, but they handle their shit, and he did it the right way. I was like, look, you got to do this, you got to do this. Don't pay that all the way off. Right. That's not going to help.
Right, and that's the important thing, too, is that a lot of people are just like, you know, I'll just pay everything off, and then, you know, that'll magically boost my credit score by hundreds of points. And a lot of times that's not actually the case.
Yeah. If anything, you just got to keep it, under 30%, right? Yep.
Yeah. Keep credit card usage under 33%. It's more like 33%, but yeah, the 30 to 33%. That's what looks the best. So, cool. But yeah, man. I mean,
tell everybody it's a pay to play.
And those kind of stories too are honestly they're the most fulfilling because even though it takes a long time, like that's how you build a true partnership. Like that's how you honestly, you're probably going to retain that client for life.
Well, we've already been good friends for fucking ever, but
professionally,
he sends people to me.
Yeah.
Anybody who's talking about buying a house, whether they qualify or not. I mean, I don't think I've ran into any person that he's sent to me that actually qualifies, right? And most of the time, when somebody doesn't qualify, they kind of just drop off the face of the earth. You know, like you'll never hear from him again. But he sent me like 8, right? Like that to me is in my A category of clients. Not to mention he's a good friend already, right? So like he's a good dude. I busted my fucking ass. He saw that, and then we got it done.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean he saw the value, and it was something that he really wanted to do. So I mean those kind of stories, those are most fulfilling, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had a client back in May. Shout out Jose. But when I first spoke to him, he had told me that basically he was like, you know, I've just accepted the fact that like I'm never going to be a homeowner, and I'm okay with that. You know, we're going to rent. We're perfectly happy where we are, and you know all of that sort of stuff. And I was like, that's awesome, but you've never been curious as to like what you could afford. And he's like, well, I don't want to pay for anything. I was like, no, like just come into the office, we'll do it together.
Yeah.
You know, bring this document and this document. I'll be able to like do an application with you, and it's not going to cost you anything, but it's going to show you at least how much you could afford, right? So, I mean, fast forward down the line, we ended up getting him a house in Salem for like $330,000.
Right. Not an easy find.
No, not at all. Yeah. Not at all. But it was just like, it was one of those situations where just everything fit together so perfectly. And the loan program that we were doing was a DPA, so a down payment assistance program. Yeah. It actually allowed him to get his full earnest money refunded at closing, his appraisal money, his inspection money, and then he also got a 12-month full warranty on his house.
Nice.
So he actually like he net zero on the purchase of that house. Like he got all of his money back, which was really awesome. Yeah. And it's like, it's not something that happens a whole lot in mortgage. And so like when he was telling me, I talk to him pretty regularly, but he was telling me that he was telling all of his buddies at work that he got his earnest money back. And they're like, what are you talking about? There's no way that you got your earnest money back. And he's like, no, I did. Like I got it all back. And they were just looking at him like he had like 10 heads. And he was just like, he was telling me, he was like, man, that's a really awesome feeling, because like now I'm the one that knows more about homes and mortgages than they do, when before it was the other way around. So it was one of those stories that was, again, it was just really fulfilling. And like he did the hard work that was worth doing. It paid off for him and his family, and he's been super stoked since then.
Yeah, it's hard, you know. And then that shit happens too, where something will happen and you'll get like a $300,000, $350,000, right? Especially right now, that ain't easy. Right?
Well, yeah, no, it's definitely, it's a lot more constricted now, but
and so, but like they're doing down payment assistance, so it's got to be FHA approved. It's like all this other shit. For conventional, sure, $350,000, I can do that all day. You got 30 options, right? But for FHA, you have 3. Yeah. You got 3 now, and they're going to be gone by the weekend. You know
it was
what I mean?
tough. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it was a situation with a difficult seller too.
Oh, nice.
Where last week of closing, nobody on the selling side was answering their phone. And I was like, all right, well, we've got 2 options. Either somebody's gonna answer the phone, or I'm driving down there. like this is not gonna happen. Yeah. So we finally got a hold of him. There was some sort of like, you know, bad service, bad connection, didn't get any calls type story. But I was just like, doesn't matter. Let's just get it done right now. We ended up, we closed on time and got it done. He's super stoked. He called me yesterday just to check in. Nice. He's like, I've been doing all this work on the outside of the house. Like, you remember how it looked like this? Well, now it looks like this, and was like walking me through all of the improvements that he's been doing. And it was really awesome. It was really awesome. It kind of it re-solidified kind of the purpose of why I do what I do.
Right.
It's not just for the money. It's for stories like that, man.
Man, we make good money. You know, like, so especially on my end, I think we end up making more than you guys do. I'm not sure.
Definitely.
But okay, well there you go. But I don't do it for that. Like, my favorite part is handing somebody keys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and they're just so grateful. They're just so thankful of everything, and I always tell my clients too, like, don't fucking settle on a house. Mm-hmm. And my biggest reason is because what I've realized doing this for as long as I have is every time you open that door and you hate it, you're going to think of me. The guy who forced you into this house.
Right.
And whatever situation you want to create for yourself, if you hate this house, you hate me.
Exactly.
And you're going to remember that every fucking day. But on that same token, when somebody comes over and they're like, I fucking love your house, you're going to think of me. Mm-hmm. I need it to be that way. You know what I mean? Because I live mostly on referrals, man. I mean, we got lead services and all this other bullshit, but like, if I can't create a scenario where people are calling me because they heard I did a great job, it's just not going to happen. I mean, I got clients like this one I'm closing turned into 3 deals all at once, right? And because they're selling and buying. That's always one of the best scenarios. Well, I held an open house. This person wanted to purchase this house. They hated their fucking realtor. And a fiduciary duty I see as, well, then it's my fiduciary duty to help this person because that other client, that other realtor sucks. Right? So I did that, and it turned into a triple. So I'm on the buy and sell end of this listing and the purchase of their new home.
Wow.
It's also turned into the weirdest fucking deal I've ever done because my clients were, of course, contingent on their buy.
Right.
Because of their home, right? Well, the lady who purchased, that is also now my client, is contingent on that buy of that house on her sale of her home in Sumner. And so, like, there's just like this ladder of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this whole time. Like, just everybody has to do this correctly. But we close on next Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
On three out of the 4 will close. And so...
interesting.
Yeah, man.
It got real weird real quick.
It was nuts. But hey, we're working through it.
Yeah.
And it's been very strange. And if I haven't been doing this as long as I have and have the experience and confidence in myself that I did, this wouldn't have worked. Because basically what I did is I went to the other realtor and was like, how's it going? Like, explain to me the situation, blah, blah, blah. She's obviously new-ish, right? Some of the stuff she was saying kind of indicated that she's a little nervous about the sale. She's blah, blah, blah. I basically was like, do this. Like, I'm not fucking playing games with any of you. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to do all these things. I'm going to do these things for this person, this thing for this person, this thing for this person. I played no fucking games. I took complete control over 4 of these 3 sales, right? So I get paid off of 3 of these sales. The sale over here in Sumner, I get paid nothing. But if that sale doesn't happen, none of these happen.
Right.
So I basically took over this other fucking deal and handled the shit out of it. Because she was like, well, she won't come down. She listed it for $100,000 more than it was worth to begin with.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The old, I know what I've got.
Yeah,
kind of
she's
listing.
new.
Yeah.
Right? So the issue was that house in Sumner, there's a huge multi-million-dollar construction going on out there. And they're building $700,000 houses, like 80 of them. So she's like, well, this house this house will be worth what she listed it for. Mm-hmm. Not right now.
Yeah.
They don't have a single one built, not a single one sold. Play the game where you're at. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to understand that when it's built, whoever's buying that house is a fucking genius. Because in 2-3 years, when these houses start getting built and sold, that house will be worth what's being sold near it. Not to mention, these are all on 0.14 acres, $700,000 houses, 2,500 square foot houses. I've seen all these plots, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you got no yard, no nothing, fat fucking house. You could slap your neighbor's wife from your fucking window, right? Like just that's how this is.
Yeah.
And there are going to be fucking 80 of them stacked right next to each other. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Well, now you got this other house that is old as fuck, but it's 3,000 square feet. It's on 1.5 acres, and it's a mile from there.
That's going to be worth so much more.
So much fucking money. So yeah, you'll make that $100,000 in a couple of years. Easy. Based on what's been sold over there.
Right.
Plus, the closing price, I think, was like $525. Right? And she wanted to start at fucking $625 is where she tried to start. So that'll be easy in a couple of years. Mm-hmm. But
not right now.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Right? So I talked to her and I said, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to talk to the client right? And talk to them about this and this and this. And then you need to, what I would suggest doing is going to your broker. Talking to your broker, having them come through and repricing without knowledge of how much it's worth, right? Like, just have people help you and get a couple opinions. Fucking pay for an appraisal.
Right.
If this client is stuck on this fucking number, pay the $800 for a fucking appraisal. You know why? Because it'll sell once you do that. And it's you realize that it's only worth $500, $525 right now. Like, stop fucking with this. The longer it's on the market, the worse it's going to look, the harder it's going to be to sell.
Exactly.
It's just not going to be good. So I had to walk her through it.
That's a whole different level of value add that you've created in that space, though. Because she's going to remember that.
Christy? Or
the agent.
I shouldn't say that. The agent will. Right.
Yeah.
But, like, my buyer who is selling that house with her has no fucking idea. She's like, oh, my listing agent came up with all these great ideas, blah, blah. I'm not going to be like, yeah, that was me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course, your agent did great. Like, I need you to have confidence in your fucking agent who's selling your house, right? You don't need to know that it was me. That I fucking sold all 4 of these goddamn houses. You don't need to know.
You did one for free so that you could get paid on 3 of them.
That's what I'm saying, dude. But people don't get it. And that's the thing is... our job really is, it should be client-based, man.
Absolutely.
I'm not walking you through houses you can't afford so you'll up your purchase price.
Right.
I need you to be able to go to the fucking movies on the weekends, you know? Like, live a happy life. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck in a fucking sweet-ass house, you're not going to give a shit.
Yeah. If you make $1 million and you spend $1 million in one, you're still broke.
Right.
You know?
That's how this works, man. So, you got to teach my ex-wife that fucking She did not fucking get it. It's funny, too, because you're in the goal-setting coaching and all that other shit, right?
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of that shit. I've been on sales for fucking a long time. Even when I cooked, I would take summers off sometimes and go sell security systems door to door.
Okay.
So, like, I've been in sales, hard sales, for a long time, right? So, you ever done door to door?
I have not, but I have a background in internet marketing, cold calling. I did that for 2 years. And I think that and door-to-door sales are some of like the hardest lessons that you learn in sales.
Dude, if you can make it,
nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah, if you can make it in one of those, you're gold. Like you can do any sales, anytime, any day.
Absolutely.
I built this business I have doing door knocking and open houses. Like, I mean, and now business is great, right? Because I can afford to pay for leads. I can also afford to pay a fucking amazing assistant that does basically everything for me, right? But that opens up, like, I hate paperwork. I hate all the back end shit that just takes you an hour to do. You know what I mean? I hate connecting, like her main job is literally sitting next to me all fucking day telling me what I'm doing next. If you can keep me on track, I will make us both money. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I don't give a fuck.
Shoot.
Yeah, dude. Like, but I have such a hard time, especially with my ADHD, keeping track of what the fuck I'm doing. I'll pick up my phone and be like, "Who am I calling?" And she answers, right? Like, and that's what I need. Because otherwise, I'm sitting here for 10 fucking minutes trying to figure out who the fuck I'm supposed to talk to.
Yeah. You ever open your phone and you just look at it and you can tell, you can remember that there's something that you're supposed to do, but the harder you think about it, like, you can actually feel the thought just like flying away.
Right.
It's like,
and then you put your phone down. You don't even know what time it is.
Exactly.
And you were just looking at it like you have no idea. Just fuck, man.
The amount of times I've taken my phone out of my pocket specifically to check the time.
Yeah.
And then I put my phone in my pocket. I'm like, wait, what time is it?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It is. It is. I'm just glad it's in my own brain.
Yeah.
And not everyone knows that that's what I just did.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, man.
It's like an ooh, something shiny type moment.
Yeah, dude, all day. But it's nuts, man. And so I'm also trying to take on... I was going to build a team here at Keller Williams. I hate the notion. And I know a lot of people are making really good money on it and doing all that other shit. I'm frustrated at how they do it. They get a fat chunk of everybody's check, and people make barely any money. I'm trying to set up this whole, let me teach you. Use me as long as you need to, and then go make some fucking money, right?
Got you. Okay.
So one of the things I'm trying to do is bring people in. Like, you want to make phone calls? Good. Here's 1,000 fucking people. Start here. Make some phone calls. Anybody you get from here is your client. Now, what we're going to do, I paid for the lead. You have no idea what you're fucking doing. So we're going to split this deal 50-50, right? I will walk you through, hand in hand, through this entire transaction because you will get no better at this fucking job till you do 30 fucking transactions. I can guarantee that shit.
Yeah.
I hate their little model here. They have this thing called PC coaching where they're like hyping you up. Go get a deal. Go get a deal. From where?
Yeah.
I got my license and I was pissed my phone wasn't ringing.
That reminds me of a quote that I got from our COO at Vision Mortgage Group. Shout out Annalise. But she said,
I talked to her. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, when I got licensed, she said, "Great, you're licensed. What's the hardest part about a deal?" And I was just like, and I started like just randomly guessing, and she's like, "Nope." Finally, I was just like, "What is it?" She's like, "Getting the deal."
Yeah.
And that's super
find
powerful.
one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part about doing mortgages.
Well, it's strange because like you get your license, you think your phone's gonna ring.
Exactly.
You know how many family members didn't use me because I was brand new?
I was so frustrated when that happened to me
So
too.
irritated. I'm like, but we're family. They're like, yeah, but you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm like, well, that may be true, but you should use me anyways,
Yeah.
right? But now that I'm older, I've done this for a long time, and they've called me with their real estate questions for fucking ever. First of all, I want to say 80% of my family from business. I refuse to work with them. First of all, we're Sicilians, and a lot of them are just worried about their money-grabbing assholes, most of them. I've done the last one where I literally told each of them, if your last name is Magno, don't fucking call me. I told one of them, I said, spread the fucking word, because fuck all of you. Because, dude, we get down there, I'm showing this dude houses. My cousin.
Yeah.
Showing him houses. And then he goes off and he sees one that he likes when I'm not there. Well, the agent's there. The agent gave them my commission off the house to purchase with him. Yeah.
What?
So he basically took 10 grand off the purchase price to not involve me.
Wow.
And they did it.
Wow.
Fuck you. Fuck you. I got you through your mortgage process. I got you through all this other bullshit. You're using Rocket Mortgage to begin with, which is fucking bullshit.
Jesus.
I'm over here trying to work on the weekends, which they don't.
Yeah.
I need a pre-approval on a weekend. That's not going to happen.
You know what's crazy, actually? So I had to get an appraisal transfer from Rocket Mortgage one time.
Nice.
I was on hold for 45 minutes before I even got a hold of somebody. And then turns out I got transferred to the wrong department. So I got sent back to where I was initially, waited another 20 minutes, only to find out that the first place that I called was the right department. And so I just got ping-ponged back and forth through all these different departments before finally I was like, look, I just need the appraisal transferred, okay? Here's the documents that I need. It's like this, and this. That's all I need. Can someone please just send it to me? I know you guys have like a centralized database or whatever. Just ask whoever you need to ask because I'm sick of just being on hold and then being told that I'm on the wrong line. 45 minutes, though.
Yeah.
45 minutes. It's so ridiculous.
They're terrible.
It's so ridiculous.
And the thing is, too, and that's you being kind of a bad guy, right? That's
right.
you. Can you imagine how fucking mad I am? Like, trying to complete a sale and then basically telling me no? Because, like, you're closed on the weekends when I'm showing these houses?
Mm-hmm.
And these my cousin and shit took it against me. Because like, I'm like, I will not submit an offer without a pre-approval.
Yeah.
I will not. Why? Because I wouldn't look at a fucking offer without a pre-approval. I would not let my clients look at one without a completed offer, which is with a pre-approval.
A lot of people don't even look at offers that have Rocket Mortgage pre-approvals. I've spoken to I've spoken to a bunch of agents that have told me that it goes directly into their cylindrical filing cabinet.
Well, Veterans United too is rough.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've dealt with them at all. I mean,
No.
you're a mortgage, so you don't really deal with other mortgages. But they piss me off because the VA, I don't know what kind of incentive program they have, but if you go into the VA and say you want a mortgage, they will send you to Veterans United, who does not work for the VA. They're called Veterans United because the VA sends them shit. But they're in no way, shape, or form affiliated, and they're another Rocket Mortgage. They don't work fucking weekends. They don't do shit. I had to yell at this fucking guy, give me your personal goddamn number. Because I don't give a fuck that you work in Missouri and get off at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
That's 3 p.m. my time, you jackass.
There's business that needs to be done. I need
Right.
you to answer.
Like, answer your fucking phone.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not even allowed in my work email from... Then send me a personal fucking email. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Just
Why the fuck do I work
done.
on your clock?
Yeah.
It is stupid.
That's what's so infuriating, though. It's so infuriating that's like it's so common. It's so common that like even people like you and I that are willing to take the phone calls after work, like after work hours or work weekends. Like I have my laptop in the car with me right now on the off chance that somebody needs a pre-approval. I don't have any calls lined up for this afternoon yet.
Right.
But on the off chance that someone does call me and they're like, "Hey, I was thinking of offering on this house. What do you think about that?" I have the application already on my computer. That way I can just plug in the numbers and be like, okay, here's what monthly payment looks like. Here's what your cash to close looks like. Is this something that you're comfortable with paying? And that's what I try to stress to people is that like application sounds so like definitive.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do an application that means like I either get accepted or denied. If I get accepted, I have to move forward. That's the narrative that I'm wanting to change is that an application essentially for me is just a working document.
Yeah.
It's a live sheet that I can play with numbers.
It's also a roadmap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I could tell you right now, yes or no, whether or not you could afford this house, but are you going to believe me? Is there any like evidence? Is there any fact that backs this up? I could tell you whatever I wanted, and you could either believe me or not believe me. I choose to present the facts and show you exactly how this works and why the reasoning is behind it.
Yeah.
So like even with that client that I was talking to you about that I met last week. We did an application right there together, like she was sitting across the table from me, and I did the application right there with her. After that, I turned it around and I was like, this is why it's so important to have this, is because, first of all, I'm able to take a look at your credit report right here. There's there's 2 percentages up here which represent your debt to income ratio. Now, depending on what this number is, that will decide which loan program we can put you in, whether it's conventional, FHA, whether we have to go DPA, whatever it is. It gives me a much broader understanding of your financial situation. That way I'm able to make the best educated decision on what to present to you for options.
Right.
And really just laying all that out because I could tell that she was kind of apprehensive. She was like, well, I'm not really sure if I want to buy right now. Like I'm excited to, I would love to, but I'm not really sure if, I want to take that leap right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's totally fine, but just let's do this so that you can see exactly what your situation looks like from like behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
And so after that, then she started to get really excited. She started sending me like properties and stuff, which I'll talk to you about it. She's got some ideas, but there were some interesting ones.
Okay.
Some interesting ones. So we'll talk about that offline.
Interesting.
But,
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. I don't want to out anybody on the podcast right now, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's to me that's what's truly valuable about what it is that we do on the mortgage side is being able to educate in a way that isn't pushy. So I mean, like the way that I define sales is that there's 2 people that come together to solve a problem for mutual benefit.
Yeah.
So the angle that I come at, even when I'm cold calling people, is to come at it from an angle of being a resource.
Yeah.
So look, I'm never going to push you into getting a mortgage if it's not something that you want, if it's not something that, like, if you don't want to buy a house and you don't see yourself being a homeowner, not because of an affordability standpoint, but just because it's something that you choose not to do, that's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah. If you're happy with being that, like, that's totally okay. I'm still going to ask if there's anybody in your family I can be connected with.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to push you. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be an educational resource for you. That way, if you ever do have questions, because maybe you don't want to be a homeowner today, but maybe next week, you see something on TV or you're driving past an open house and you're like, actually, I would love to own that place. I want to be top of mind. That way, I can be the person that was like, oh, well, you know what? This person didn't try to sell me on anything. They were just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
And so that's like a lot of the leads that I've gotten from you. Like I've made sure to make that known because there's a lot of people they're from like 2018, 2019 that are like, we already bought, when rates were crazy low, like 2.5%. I'm like, that's amazing. Fantastic.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tell you to refinance when rates are not that anymore.
Right.
But what I do want to know, what I do want to let you know is that I'm here for if there is inevitably when there is another purchase, or if there's somebody in your family that wants to purchase, or even if you have questions about your mortgage right now. Because a lot of people, what I've noticed is that a lot of people will only buy maybe once or twice. Like typically, they'll only buy once or twice in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to like the nitty gritty details and stuff. How often are they taking a look at this? How familiar are they with it? right? And so having that guy, right, that guy in your pocket where you're just like, I know a guy who can help us with this.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be. That's what I want to build my business around.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of that too, where it's like I've helped quite a few people even just finding a rental. That is not my fucking job. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everyone seems to think it is because I'm New York or whatever the fuck, right? But like, I don't do that. Mm-hmm. But you know what I do? I do. Silly.
I was waiting for you to catch it.
I want to be the dude. Anything real estate related, you're going to call me. So I will help you find a rental. Yeah. I will help you figure some shit out. I'm at least going to try, because next time when you have another question, maybe it's involved in the house, I'm going to be the dude you call anytime there's a real estate question. Or I'm going to be the one whose number you hand out, because I answered your question last time. This guy's got a question. Put me on the board with this guy. Mm-hmm. Find him a rental this time. In a year, I'm not fucking going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be here for a while. So
exactly.
When you're ready, let's do it.
Yeah. And that's so important, because like a lot of these people will think that you're just going to push and not take no for an answer, because unfortunately there are a lot of people like that out there.
Car salesmen.
Exactly. And they think that mortgages and cars equate. Like it's not the same, you know.
Well, the hard part is there are still those type of people involved, right? So changing the stigma, because I mean, I know that realtors are just money grubbing fucking assholes. You know what I mean? Like that's
Insert.
Just right. So that's what everybody thinks, and so I'm trying to change that as well to where we're a good thing. And yes, I mean, we're over glorified middlemen. That's what we do. But the thing is, if you don't know how to do this transaction, which 99% of people don't.
You need that person.
You also need somebody who can negotiate for you, too.
Exactly.
You want to sit here and tell me that you're going to be able to do what I do for a living, well, once every 5 years? Probably not. Or at least not as well as I do. So, and that's not me being confident. That's me being realistic. I mean, I can tile my bathroom. Mm-hmm. It's not going to look as good as a dude who's doing that every fucking day. It's also not going to get done as quick, right? I'd rather pay somebody to do that shit.
Exactly.
It's not even just an ease, it's a improvement of just life. I mean, how much stress I take off people's heads that they don't even fucking know about. Like this sale. I had to handle something I wasn't even involved in, just so my client felt more comfortable about purchasing from my other client. So that client can now purchase something else, right? And it's this whole train of just, I am your peace of mind. I am the one who's going to handle it for you, right? Like you call me with a question or an issue or all that other bullshit, I'm going to handle it. I may not know how, but I'm going to figure that shit out, and we're going to handle it, you know? Absolutely. And it's really hard, because a lot of times people call me with your questions, mortgage questions, and I'm like, I'm very upfront. That's not a question for me.
Yeah.
I got a number if you want to call this person. Well, but like you're the one I ask about all this stuff. Right, but I don't do that. Call a professional who does, and then we get your questions answered correctly. Because I can third party your questions all fucking day.
Yeah.
But when I answer your question directly, and you have more questions about that answer, just go to the source, bro.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And so that same client that I was talking to you about just now.
Yeah.
She was telling me what she was looking for in a home, and she was like, I need you to start like looking, can you start looking for properties for me? Like, this is what I'm looking for, da 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 da. And I was like, whoa. All right, let's pump the brakes here. Yeah. First of all, we don't have a pre-approval yet.
Yeah.
So like, I understand and I appreciate your eagerness, but we need to take care of this obstacle before we can take care of that one, right?
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't do real estate. I do the mortgage side of things. And I have a great connection for you.
Right.
Someone that can really help you, and that's like his entire job, is to be able to negotiate these transactions for you. So he's going to be a much better resource for you. But what I'd like to do first is I'd like to work together so that we can get this first part handled. That way when I send you over to Tyler, you know, it's not like a, well, hey, where's your pre-approval? Like, let's start submitting offers, and then you'd be like, oh, well, we're still working on it. Like, you can tell him what you want all day long, and when he starts showing you houses and stuff, and you want to submit an offer but you don't have a pre-approval, he's going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
So let's work together to get this done first, and then afterwards, then we'll move on to the next step.
Well, and that's the biggest issue I have too, with especially with mortgage lenders and shit. Is I'll have a pre-approval, pre-qualification, fucking conversation, right? Oh well, they could probably go about here. They can go about there. Yeah, but like, say I write an offer tomorrow because I bust my ass and I get shit done. Right? So you send me a client that can go look at houses, I expect to be able to write an offer that day.
Absolutely.
That's what I expect because that's what I do. You know what I mean? I will show you fucking all 6 of those houses. And I will not show you more than that because if you're looking at more than that, pick your top 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's another real estate conversation that I always have to have. People want to look at 20 fucking houses. And I'm like, but if you had to choose your top 5, which would those be? Okay, well, we're going to go look at those because these other ones don't fucking matter and you're wasting my time.
Right.
Granted, I look at houses on the weekends when I don't have shit to do. It's fun. But at the same time, if you're looking to actually purchase, like, can we wrap this shit up here?
Exactly. Like, let's be intentional with our time. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine because both are valuable. And so that's, I mean, and again, that kind of loops it back to the application too. That's why I always have my laptop with me.
Yep.
People are submitting offers all the time. People that are actually serious about this stuff. There's a lot of onesie twosies that are like, on the fence, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But ultimately there are still that group of people that are very interested in buying and understand the value of purchasing when rates are on the higher end.
I mean, and you say on the higher end, this is still a nation average.
I mean, and that's the thing, is that like that's the narrative, and I even catch myself being in that mind state a lot of the time. Is like, you know, you hear it so much that like unintentionally you start saying, rates are high, but it's true. It's true. It's really not even that bad.
7 to 9 is like the average over the past like 80 fucking years.
Exactly.
So, and that's a good average. I mean, we're not double digits, and we're at the bottom half of the average. That doesn't seem terrible to me. And fuck it, if rates go down, refinance.
Exactly.
If rates go up, you're good to go, bro.
Exactly.
People don't get it.
Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. All the time. And it sounds so cheesy, but you date the rate. There's a reason why it's cheesy and why it's used so much. Is because it's the truth. You marry the house, you date the rate. You know? Rates are temporary. Even in this market right now, like, you don't, just because someone tells you that rates are at 7% doesn't mean that your rate has to be at 7%.
There's buy downs. There's like all this shit that you can
Exactly.
do.
What I've noticed a lot too is that people aren't aware of how seller credit can be used and how common it is in markets like this.
Well, it's because at the same time too, you're dealing with what I've been having to deal with. Is these weekend warrior fucking real estate agents who have no fucking idea what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, rates are at 7%. Okay, well we can do a buy down. We can do seller credit for this. We can do that. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, and I can explain that shit because I've been doing it forever.
Exactly.
But you get to a person who has no idea what the fuck that even means, right? And now they're calling the lender just to ask, or they just, oh well, you can't do that, or oh yeah, the rates are what they are. Well, they're not. Like, there's a way around everything.
Yeah.
It's just
people don't realize that there's a sheet and that each rate has a cost that's associated to it. So permanent buy downs, what I've told people is that if rate is really that important to you, then there's ways around that.
Yeah.
That's it, there's options, right? That's where we come in with the 2-1 buy down. If they don't want to do the 2-1 buy down, because there is a little bit of a cost to set up the 2-1 buy down. Depending on your purchase price, it can be like $10,000, right? But so there is a cost associated with setting up the 2-1 buy down, just because there's money that has to be put aside. But if that's like, I don't know, kind of like a pucker point for you, then we'll go to the permanent rate buy down. Well, I don't want to pay this for that rate. Okay, well, why don't we look into seller credit?
Right.
What's that? Okay, seller credit is it's a percentage of the purchase price that is used to offset your total closing costs. Now, depending on your loan program, it can be 3%, it could be 6%.
Well, and depending on your realtor.
Exactly. And that's the power of having a good realtor who's like a bulldog in negotiations. Somebody that can actually get that shit done.
Because people don't understand, I want the seller to pay $10,000. Well, the house is definitely worth what they're asking. Mm-hmm. So why don't we up the purchase price by $10,000? Then you're basically financing that shit. Like, then everybody feels like they win.
Exactly.
Right? My job is to make sure that nobody feels like they lost. That is what my job is, right? Oh, I wasn't talking to you about that. I was talking about fucking with Jerry about that shit because he's doing negotiations with the union.
Okay.
But like, so my biggest job, which people really don't get, is my job isn't to be the winner, right? To make you guys win and everybody else loses. Fuck them. Everybody has to feel like they at least didn't lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. That's a good negotiation.
Yes.
Nobody lost,
Exactly.
right? Because nobody's going to win-win. And if you're win-winning, you're probably a dickhead. You know? And like, somebody's pissed if you're winning, right? So that's just not the way good negotiations work. I mean, that was one of the issues I had with family. So this cousin that was buying, he was doing it with daddy's money, right? So like, well then, no, drop the price by like 20 grand. Make him drop the price. Why it's worth that much? Like, why are you being an ass? Like, how much is that even saving them?
Yeah.
Like $20 a month? Like, will you chill the fuck out? Like, what is wrong with you? You know, he just wanted to win.
Yeah, just make them drop it.
Well, that was the thing. It was more about winning than actually getting the house they wanted.
Right.
Like, that just
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No, but I think what you said is right. I mean, a good negotiation always is a compromise. It's winning on both sides.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, and again, like what you said, if someone is an absolute winner or it's like a win-win, then somewhere by definition, someone somewhere is losing.
Yeah. Right.
And so you gotta come together to make it a profitable and an equitable deal for both. That's true negotiation. But yeah, I mean, like, people just don't really understand a lot of like the creative ways of how you can reach that point.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I'm trying to teach this younger people is you're also not going to learn any of those until you start putting fucking deals together. Until you start seeing what other people are doing and how they're working through these situations. I mean, I didn't learn that fucking seller credit bullshit, like financing your closing costs. I didn't learn that till someone did it to me, and I'm like, well, this is more than we're asking. He's like, yeah, but I'm asking for a seller concession. And I'm like, oh, well, that brings it down to the regular price. Like, why would you do that? He's like, we're basically financing closing costs. He's like, you're new, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, so what are you doing here? He's like, that's so that my client gets their closing costs covered because they're doing DPA. They're doing the Washington bond, right? They can't afford closing costs. So what we're doing is we're financing the closing costs through the loan, and everybody wins. And I was like, that's fucking genius. And then I started doing the shit out of that. Everybody's fucking happy because the seller's not losing anything. Yeah, they're back down to their normal purchase price. Right. But that's what they asked for, and that's what they're getting. So what's your fucking problem?
Yeah.
I mean, usually appraisals will go up 10 grand. I mean, come on. Yeah, like I have not had a low appraisal. I don't think ever.
Really?
I don't think I've ever had to deal with a low appraisal.
I've had a couple of them.
I do my damn job, right? So, like, if I'm making an offer, I'm doing a CMA on that fucking house. I'm not going to offer you more than that house is worth. And if I offered a low, I'm going to send you my CMA and explain to you why you're a fucking idiot. Why did you do that? Well, this $1 million house in the neighborhood sold, so that ups everybody. That house is 8 bedrooms. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not even comparable.
No, you're fucking stupid.
This house looks like it ate your house.
Yeah, exactly. It eats your house for breakfast every morning. Like, your house is worth $500,000. That's what it's worth. Well, it should be 6 because of this $1 million home. Don't throw that fucking thing in there to offset your difference here. It's not worth that much.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
He's like, well, we have been having like no showings. Yeah, because you're an idiot. You know, like we had a showing because we can afford 600. But that house is not worth. We're not offering you 600 because I'm not dealing with a low appraisal.
Yeah.
You want to get all the way down there and then have to lower your price out of necessity instead of fucking. And then what happens if they only lower the price by 50? My client still fucked that extra 50. I'm not playing this game with you. I will offer you 500,000 because that's what it's worth, and here is why.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just, I'm not playing these games.
It's
like
a crazy pain in the ass to have.
If you can't do your fucking job, you can't do your job. That is your problem, not mine. Actually, no. Low appraisal I dealt with on the listing side, but that was nothing I could do on that one because it was also worth the amount because they ended up going. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. Yeah. those girls should not have been in that fucking house. Like, they had no business being in that fucking house. I told them that. There were also two sisters moving in together. Both sisters had just had a baby within months of each other. And it was just the sisters moving in together. So, like, dads were not involved. Like, it was just a bad situation altogether. It was not okay. And Ben pushed it through, made it happen. And then, lo and behold, a year later, they need to sell because they can't stand living in the same house together. And, like, their aunt moved in. And, like, it's both of their aunt because they're sisters, right? So, like, it was just fucking terrible. And I went to go sell their house. I'm like, well, this is how much it's worth. You're losing $20,000, right? Right off the bat. And that's after I'm taking no commission, no nothing. Because I felt bad, you know? Like, I'm the one who put him in this situation, but I don't know, man. It was bad.
Yeah.
I'm, like, dying here now. We got too excited.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I guess I have dealt with a low appraisal. But as soon as that happened, we got pretty close to closing because we got to appraisal. It came back like $30,000 lower than we needed it. And it was FHA. So that's sticking with the house unless we rebutted it and did all that other shit, which I'd never done. And I was like, well, we're kind of fucked. And so they're like, fine, like, we're done completely. We'll just stay in the house. And then another agent had reached out to them and told them how to do it, which that was just a lack of knowledge on my part, which is why I lost. It was like year 1 or 2.
Sure.
But
yeah, and I mean, you don't
broke
know
up
what
with
you
my
don't know,
ex-wife,
though, right?
and I fucking called one of them too.
Yeah.
She was hot. I liked her a lot. She was cool.
Yeah. How'd that go down?
It didn't. She was dating somebody else. So
There was no slipper sent flying your way?
no chancla. No, they were Hispanic too.
Yeah.
I had asked her about a rodeo. I still have never been to a rodeo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like my ex-wife was from El Salvador.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like something she was into. It's mostly Mexicans do the rodeo thing around here, right? And so I just had never been to one, and I wanted to go. And I was like, oh, you know, like, I saw you were going to go. Like, can I go with you? She's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I was like, cool. Like, you want me to take you to dinner first? Well, I said, oh, like, you want to go with me? And she's like, well, I'm dating somebody. And then her boyfriend started texting me from her number.
Oh, gosh.
He got very possessive and all that other bullshit, and I was just like, fuck it. So it is what it is.
You better watch your mouth, buddy, talking like this.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. I'm hitting on her. She said she's dating someone else. I wasn't going to keep going, but now
Right.
I'm irritated, you know? So, like...
Part of me just wants to keep going just for that.
Yeah, part of me wants to know who she would have chose to begin with. You know? So, like...
One is the wrong choice, the other is me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, dude, there's a few rodeos. There's one, actually, I went to a rodeo last year, which it's not like the most like serious rodeo around here, but it's pretty cool and it's pretty local. It's called the Malala Buckaroo. So it's obviously it's in Malala. It's around summertime. But I went last year, or the year, like it's in the summertime, so not this summer just passed, but the one just before. And it gets active out there, dude.
Yeah.
Gets real active because there's a lot of country folk that are like in like the southeastern part, like Oregon City, Malala, Canby, like a lot of cowboys, or at least want to be cowboys. But yeah, so we go down there and they've got this like beer tent where they're only selling beer and wine, and then they have like the beer garden where you can get like whiskeys and like all the hard liquor and shit.
Yeah.
And so like walking into the venue, they've got, like, garbage cans for, like, garbage, whatever, obviously. But we're walking into the entrance, and it's overflowing with cans. Like, empty cans of beer, empty cans of White Claws, truly, like, overflowing. There's about 8 of them. Like, 8 trash cans that are just on the way into the entrance, all of them overflowing. So people are just shit-faced going in there.
Shit.
And then afterwards, it got a little wild. So the beer garden is right here. It's got like a chain link area, like it's fenced in so that you have to like show your wristband or whatever to get in. But then right on the outside of the chain link, there's like an area for the porta potties and stuff. A bunch of people actually ended up getting kicked out because they were getting active in the porta potties.
Oh, nice.
And it was like wow. Wow. It's like they shut it down. So it's supposed to go on until like 11:30. They shut it down 2 hours early because people were just getting that shit face. Like there was a guy that had 2 black X's on each of his hands. So he had been kicked out many times. Somehow still managed to make his way back into the beer garden and is double fisting whiskey and cokes. And it's just pounding him, and he's got 4 black X's on his hands. And so every time security sees him, they just like pluck the drinks out of his hands and hand them to someone and then escort him out. And then like 15 minutes later, he's back. It's like, dude, it's like some David Blaine type shit. Like he just cool. He just apparates, just appears.
Apparates, nice.
But no, man. I mean, there's a bunch of really cool ones. There's one in Pendleton actually. There's another one in Spray, which are like smaller, like they're out there, like out in the country, so it's pretty authentic. But yeah, there's plenty of them around here.
Well, I got the goats and shit. I want to start farming and eventually, like just livestock, not like actually doing it to make money, just more for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see me. I wear my boots and my buckle and my hats every once in a while too.
I'm still trying to pull off that look. I'll occasionally.
It's not about pulling it off. It's about just doing it.
That is true. That is true. But it's just like for me, like when I think of like farming. So I come from Ireland. Like I was born in Portland, but I was raised in Ireland. So farming to me has a very different meaning.
Potatoes?
Like it's not. So actually, potatoes are not the biggest export. It's beef and dairy.
Whoa.
Yeah. So all of like the rich kids that I went to high school with over there, all dairy farmers. Like, and we're not talking like 100. We're talking like many hundreds, even thousands. So like they have these like multi-acre, multi-hectare fields and just massive plots of land where they have a whole like multi-million-dollar dairy operation happening. And so like farming to me is like rubber boots and like a gigantic puffer jacket with a beanie driving a John Deere tractor that's like 3 times the size of a school bus. Wow. Whereas over here farming is like rodeo and obviously still farming, but like over there it's just like it's different. Like there's a whole season, we would call it baling season, where all of the farmer kids would just disappear from school for like 3 weeks, and it was just like, well, where did everybody go? They're at home cutting the hay and baling it. Yeah. Because like it's all hands on deck. Yeah. Or like during the springtime, like early spring when it's calving season, where all their cows are having babies and stuff, they're up at like 3:30 in the morning. They don't go to bed until 11:30 that night. Like there's no time for school during those busy farming seasons. And so yeah, like it's just like there's a whole different look and a whole different like feel of authenticity because between the 2 different types of farming, or styles of farming rather. Yeah. So like coming over here and just being like belt buckle, cowboy boots and cowboy hat, and I'm like I'm trying to find the look. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's just I don't know, it just doesn't feel.
I think you'd pull it off fast.
I just gotta find it. I gotta find what that look is for me.
Well, you look Hispanic, so I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to pull it off. Here, Cafe Yum, gross.
I think I've only had Cafe Yum a couple times.
Yeah, I'm all right on that shit.
For some reason, it just tastes sour. Like there's something about what they put in the bowls that just tastes sour.
What's that acai or whatever you want to call it? Like I don't know what the fuck they're putting in there. I want food.
Yeah. One thing I actually do really love though is acai bowls.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. So they take like the berries. Mm-hmm. They make this like sort of like frozen puree. So it's almost like a frozen yogurt almost. And then they put like banana slices, strawberries, chia seeds, stuff like that. Delicious. I had one of those in Hawaii. My aunt used to live over there. Yeah. But like literally like fresh from the garden. Delicious. One of the best things I've ever eaten for breakfast.
Yeah, we just did Hawaii like a month or so ago for like 10 days.
Yeah.
My mom was over there for 3 months.
Damn.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was all right.
Yeah. I liked Hawaii, but I don't know. It was just like I feel like I had a different level of appreciation because it wasn't like a tourist site for me. Yeah. It was an actual like vacation. So like I didn't go to any of the hotel resorts. Like I walked in downtown Oahu. My aunt lived like right on Waikiki Beach, so like it was tourists everywhere. But I honestly I felt very at home there. I felt just like I would just walk everywhere. Everything was within walking distance, so I would just like pack a bag, make sure I have my water and my snacks or whatever. I always have a Spam musubi. Do you like those? No, dude. I
don't like
lived off
sushi at all.
I lived off those. So it's like the slice of Spam on rice. Yeah, dude. I lived on those when I was there. But yeah, and then I would have one water bottle of water, and then a second would have like an ice cold cocktail in it. Yeah. Tequila. So nice. I was living my best life out there, man. But I would go to the beach in the morning and like go for a swim. I would have to actually. So I had to take 3 showers a day when I was over there.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. Did you also encounter that problem where you just like you come home from like even just doing whatever you were doing and you just wet. Feel moist.
Well, so what I was doing is where we were staying. My mom has like that. What is it, like Vacation International? Okay. So they're condos.
Oh, right. Okay.
So each one had a pool. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is every time we get home, we just go to the pool for like 20 minutes, right? Just rinse off, cool down.
Yeah.
And then go back up there. Because I also I run really hot.
Yeah.
So I did not like being that hot over there and just wet all the time.
Yeah. It gets uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I was so my feet swelled up really bad while I was there, and it would not go down. It didn't go down until a week after I got back.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was bad. So there's something, it happens to my mom too, so there's something going on there. But so I was just uncomfortable. I couldn't wear shoes, so I'm wearing like flip-flops the whole time, which is whatever, right? I was fine with it.
Right.
But then I like tank tops and shorts. Swimming trunks is all I wore. Because we stopped at the beach, jumping in the beach. I don't give a fuck. We're going to do that here. We're going to do that there. But my swimming shoes didn't fit. I had to get sandals, the strappy, roundy ones.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
My feet were so swollen, they wouldn't fit in my fucking swimming shoes.
Yeah.
It was bad. But
yikes. I think you'd really enjoy Ireland. Anybody that runs hot naturally would love a country like that.
Well, so my buddies just moved back to Scotland. He was one of my kickboxing coaches. And, I want to go visit there. Plus, it's like the birthplace of strongman, the Highland Games and shit. So I want to go do some of that, pick up the Dinnie stones. Yeah, because it's funny because everybody's like, oh my God, it's like so hard to do that. I'm like, well, how much do they weigh? He's like, about 450 total. And I'm like, that ain't shit, dude. Like, I'm so into that. It'd be so easy.
Dude, I would highly recommend going over there.
Yeah,
highly recommend. It's a completely different atmosphere. Like, it's still very much like medieval-esque. So like where I grew up, all of like the bigger cities where we would go to go grocery shopping and stuff, the ground is still cobblestone.
Wow.
Yeah. So like there's all these like really tiny alleys that were clearly not built for cars, where you have 2 lanes of traffic that are driving.
Shit.
Yeah. It's a trip. Like driving in Ireland is like it's an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Borderline X Games.
Nice.
But yeah, so like all these cobblestone roads and like sidewalks, or as they call them, footpaths.
Yeah.
And then you've got like these buildings that are like stacked on top of each other. It's medieval still.
Well, I went to Paris, Venice, Belgium for a little bit, just in the airport and shit. But like Paris, I fucking hated France. I hated it.
Yeah.
These people were such fucking assholes.
The
whole time. Like I'd be walking. I'm a big guy, right? Mm-hmm. Running into me, not your best move. But they would try.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to like get around people. Like I'm trying not to run into you. And then I just stopped. I'm like, these people are going out of their way because I'm in Chucks. I'm in fucking, like I'm walking. Obviously, I'm American. You can tell, right? Plus, I have a little brown woman with me, right? Which is pretty not normal over there, too. So, like, they knew I wasn't from there. And they and I just started just like, boom, like dropping these fucking French people.
Right.
They're like cussing at me and shit. I'm just like, just walk by. Like, fuck all of you. Their food was shit. I was so mad. I cooked for 10 fucking years. Mm-hmm. Like, fine dining. Yep. I go to Paris, France. I can't find some good food? What the fuck? I had more fun with, I just would get baguettes and just make sandwiches. Because there wasn't food that was worth paying for over there.
What about, you tried the escargot?
No, I'm not doing that shit.
No, not a fan?
I'm good. I'm good on that shit. Like,
no frog legs?
I like frog legs, actually. Like some fried frog legs.
Yeah?
I'm into that shit.
I've never eaten frog, actually.
I did because
I'd be down to try it.
my chef just fucking made some. I was like, here, try these. I was like, what is this, a fucking chicken wing? And he's like, try it. And I tried it, and I was like, it's like chewier, but it's still like a chicken wing. Like, what is it? He's like, oh, those are frog legs. And I was like, damn it. Like, you should have told me that shit. But I had ostrich. I had a bunch of cool shit when I worked there.
Yeah.
He was from Ireland.
Okay.
And he was a fucking piece of shit, though. He's just drunk.
Well.
Just a drunk, man. I mean, he was really cool, and then he started drinking.
Yeah.
And he would just turn into a piece of shit. It really sucked because he was one of the best chefs I've ever worked for. He owns Feast at 316 down in Camas.
Oh, okay.
Great spot, good food. He's just a piece of shit, so I won't support him.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I learned a lot when I was there, but he ended up making me one of his sous and then demoted me and expected me to stay. It sucked, too, because I was working 80, 90-hour weeks. 80 to 90 hours in a week. I was there when it opened. I was there well after it was closed.
Damn.
And I got nothing from this guy because I wasn't fine dining ready. I was not, like, what I learned in culinary school is what I learned in culinary school, sure. But, like...
It's a different ballgame.
I didn't grow up that way, which was his issue. So,
okay.
I grew up poor, right? Like, in Los Angeles. Like, my mom worked 2 jobs, and I was at home by myself most of the time. I made what was in the fridge, and I ate it. Like, to the point where it was like sometimes dinner was hot flour tortillas with some butter on it. You know, like, I mean, it's just what it was. I was hungry. I had to eat. And
Yeah.
so he was like, well, I can tell your palate isn't for fine dining. And I'm like, well, I love great food, but I need more. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and he's like, well, I need somebody who grew up that way and understands what fine dining is. I said, well, you know, like, if you teach me, I'll learn. But
Yeah.
he didn't want to do that. And he was just a real.
That
So
sucks.
I'm a sous chef, is what I am. And the reason I explain that is because I have a friend, Justin Lee, and he works up at Snoqualmie, the casino up there. I don't know if you know where that is. North, Seattle-ish.
Okay.
He's the executive chef over the entire thing. 7 restaurants, like,
Damn.
bunch of shit. He's fucking amazing. Won a bunch of culinary shows, awards, like all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Culinary Olympics in high school. So he's fucking amazing, right? He can't do shit on the line. He's fucking garbage. Getting food out perfect every time and quick, boom, 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 boom. It's not his shit. He would create a menu and create plates that would just blow your fucking mind. Like, don't even tell me what this is. That's the point I got to. Don't even tell me what this is anymore. I'm just going to eat it. And you eat it, and I don't know if you've ever had a full mouth palate hit.
I don't think so.
It is almost orgasmic, where you put something in your mouth, and it touches each of your pieces of your palate on your tongue. And it's just wonderful to put in your mouth. You get sweet, sour, savory, like all this shit going on in your mouth, and it's just, as you swallow it, you can feel it hitting other parts of your palate. Like, my mouth's watering right now. I'm having a
I know,
hard
you
time.
got my mouth. I'm salivating.
So it's just, he puts this shit together, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm a line cook. I am the sous chef, the executive sous. I would always be, I'm running the line. I'm making sure shit comes out on time. I'm teaching people how to cook, how to get there, how to do all that stuff.
Right.
I'm not the dude writing this menu. You know what I mean? I'm just not that guy. But you would not find a person with faster, more quality knife skills than I got. My hands are fucking phenomenal. I can get on that line and run the whole fucking thing myself. Right?
Yeah.
That's who I am. I'm not that executive chef writing menus and shit. He's like that. But so that's where it came into the issues, right? Where he's like, you're a cook, not a chef. No, I'm a sous chef. I'm an executive sous, is where I ended up being before I ended up getting into real estate. That's what I am. I can manage the entire line. I can run the entire line. I'm not sitting in an office. I don't want to. I don't want to sit in an office, do your fucking books, write the menu, write out costs and all that other shit. I can do that shit. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I'm very hands-on. You can't sit me in an office for too long doing anything. I can't do it.
Right.
So
Get antsy.
we worked together really well. He actually offered to give me a job up there and be like a sous chef or an executive chef at that casino. And I don't know. Before last year, I really thought about it. So when I got my divorce, I sat in a nice little pit for about a year. You know what I mean? Mm. I lost just about everything. I got into a bunch of debt because shit ain't cheap. And when you live a certain life, making a certain amount of money, you keep doing that.
Right.
So that sucked. So I was pretty close to just taking him up on it, moving up to Seattle and cooking again. Mm. But I also, it is what it is. I work for somebody again, which I don't think I can do ever again because I can't. I can't take orders very well. I'm doing it this way, you know, like I'm very teachable, but at the same time, if you're just ordering me around, if it's a learning moment, absolutely. But if you're just being a dick to be a dick, I'm gonna call you a dick.
Yeah, I think I have a similar issue. I take constructive criticism very well. Yeah. And I take coaching very well. But if I feel like there's disrespect behind what's being said, or if it's in a condescending manner, I'm just like, oh, well, of course you can't do this because of X, Y, Z. Then I'm like, that's the moment where I'm just like, all right, well.
Well, that's what you're saying. I take coaching and constructive criticism well, as long as that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're being an ass to be an ass.
Exactly.
Well, and there's also a difference. Like, are you being an ass because, like, we're all being an ass, like we're having a good time? Or are you really just, like, trying to put me down?
Right.
There's a big difference. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I mean, I ran a couple, like, Ringside Grill on Andover Golf Course. I don't know if you know about that one. It shut down because I fucking left is what happened.
Really?
Yeah, well, the guy, a new chef came in. He was married to the owner. He just got back from Japan. An amazing chef, right? But tried to add in, like, gastronomy. And you know what that is? Like science food.
Oh, okay.
Like making peach cobbler look like caviar kind of shit, right?
Or like the edible bubbles.
Yes, absolutely. Which is fucking cool. But we're in Portland, sir.
Yeah.
And this restaurant's been here for 75 years. It's on a golf course.
Yeah. We don't need seafoam.
Old ass people come here, and they have for the past 20 fucking years. They want their steak, potatoes, and meat and vegetable. Yeah. They are upset when we put purple asparagus on the menu.
Yeah.
Why? Why would I eat purple asparagus? Asparagus is supposed to be green. Yeah. Like, you know how many complaints we got?
You got to know who your customer base is.
That's what I'm saying. But we're selling $75 steaks. Yeah. And that's entree only. Right? Without the vegetables and fucking potato and all this other shit. Like, we're making good money. Don't fuck up a good thing. So he got really upset because I was like, it's not going to go over well.
It's not working.
You can't change the whole menu, dude. Like, you can't do that. Like, we cook steaks, and we cook goddamn good ones. That's why people come here. Mm-hmm. You add this stuff to the menu, we're going to fail. And he just started being a piece of shit, hired another executive sous. So now he had two.
Was trying to, like, weed you out almost.
That's what he was trying to do. But yeah. So I put in my 2 weeks' notice, and he threatened to blackball me, which means, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he threatened to blackball me, and I told everybody. And he threatened to blackball me if I short-timed him, which basically means didn't fulfill my 2 week notice. Mm-hmm. Why would I give you a 2 week notice in this industry if I was planning to short-time you? I'd have just fucking left.
Yeah.
Right?
Just silently quit.
But my reputation is a really big deal to me. That's how I have the job I have.
Right.
And how I walked out with half of your staff because you were a piece of shit. So when I put in my 2 week notice, a week in, half the staff quit and all short-timed him. Just walked out. Like, just didn't show up for work or walked off the line and never came back. Like, damn. All that shit. So I was like, thank you. First of all, maybe do that at the end of my 2 weeks, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, right. I love all these dudes. I'm calling them piece of shit for fun, right? But like, yeah, he lost everyone that was worth it.
Damn.
Yeah, when I fucking left. And he got fucked. Within a year, they shut the entire restaurant down.
Wow.
Yeah. And they tried to rebrand, tried to turn it into gastronomy and, like, expensive food.
Yeah.
We're making $100 a plate. 150 sometimes, depending on what we're selling, what the quality of steak they're ordering, all this other shit. Plus our fucking bar, stupid money, right? It's on a golf course.
Yeah.
He wanted $300 plates. Not gonna happen. You're not in a Michelin star state.
Yeah.
You want that shit? Go to San Fran. Go to fucking New York, Chicago. Absolutely. They don't give a fuck. They'll pay you that money because it's expected out there.
Right.
You're not going to get a Michelin star in Portland.
You got to know your customer base.
Yeah, so.
And especially on a golf course with primarily elder
White
couples.
dudes? Yeah, like
Yeah.
old white people.
Yeah.
That's really what's happening here.
Yeah,
They want
I mean,
steak and potatoes.
I mean, I'm sure they have no problem paying $100 a plate because they're coming there, but
Yeah.
like, don't pull the rug out.
Well, and that's the thing. If you charged them $200 a plate, they would probably still pay it as long as you gave them the same shit.
Exactly.
Can't change it, man. That's not. That's
If
not
it's
happen.
not broken, don't fix it.
It wasn't broken. It was
Exactly.
wonderful.
Exactly.
I like food. I like steaks.
Steak and potatoes is so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
You just got to get it right. Yep.
Exactly. It's a fan favorite. 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what way you do the potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very big potato guy.
Yeah, I think everybody likes potatoes.
Yeah. Every Sunday when I was growing up, it was some sort of like roast. So it was either roast chicken, roast beef, roast ham. We'd have 3 different types of potatoes. So you'd have boiled potatoes, roast potatoes, and mashed potatoes. And then you'd have all of your greens and your veggies and stuff like that. So like peas, carrots, cabbage sometimes, maybe depending on what you're eating.
I'm hungry.
But yeah, dude, I could tear up some steak and potatoes right now. All this talking about food.
I had steak and potatoes last night.
Yeah.
Made it for my daughter. She didn't want to go to her mom's.
Yeah.
So we're like 105 here.
Time to wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
right.
I appreciate you coming, man, and we'll have you back on.
sure.
Get you in here, and I like having like group discussion shit. It's a lot more fun when there's more people.
Yeah.
So now that you've been on here, we kind of interviewed you. I do want to do more of an interview of like who you are and where you came from, all that other shit. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So let's get to that. But this was a good one.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited. I'm excited to come back.
All right. Well, so this was Tyler Toby Townsend.
And David Anaya.
Thank you guys for listening.